How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Twin Tuitions. This is episode 6. This time we got myself,
AJ,
and Harrison.
Harrison is AJ's brother. He actually used to play guitar in the band. For the fans that were there for some of the first releases, you guys might know that. We thought it'd be fun to have him on and just kind of, think back to some of the earlier experiences in the band. Now that we're coming close to finalizing the releases, and we got the change of the new year. Happy New Year, everybody! By the way, what I'd like to do first, before we ask the first question, is, since you guys are brothers, I would rather have AJ explain Harrison's way into the band and then hand it over to Harrison, since I met you first, right? And so it just makes sense.
Yeah, so Harrison and I were in a metal band together before we were in Pale Twin. As you guys know who have listened to this podcast. So we were in the band Vile Sanctum, and that kind of went on hiatus in September of 2024. And then I was looking for something new to do in the meantime, and Luke had just started a project with 2 other guys that he had met, and quickly asked if I quickly kind of joined the project as a keyboard player, and I asked Harrison if he was interested in playing guitar in it, and he said that he was. So that's how it started, pretty much.
Yeah, I was super excited. I was, I've always loved heavy metal and everything, but I love just music in general. I mean, I'm just a music head. Always have been. I mean, I'm not part of a project now, but I plan on being in a future project, definitely, for sure. I've never really been one that can paint. I paint with sounds. Yeah. So, and I am really proud of the stuff Vile Sanctum did, and everything. Still am, and we did a music video and everything, and I'm just super excited, like, with what Pale Twin is doing right now. I mean, these songs are really freaking sick. Like, I love all of them. So
It's crazy how things come all the way around, like full circle, because when we met, when AJ and I met, one of the first things music-wise that we did, not the very first, but one of the first, was you were in Vile Sanctum, and so I started going to your guys' shows, and I remember thinking, like, and I really liked Vile Sanctum, and I was like having a lot of fun at the shows, and I thought the shows were sick. And I just remember at the time I had mostly done studio work, like releasing stuff from the studio but not playing it live. And I was at one of your guys' shows. I remember thinking just specifically, like, this seems so fucking awesome, and you guys were crushing it. The fans were into it. And so time went on, and then Vile Sanctum went through some changes, and I tried to come in for the vocals, but the project ended up, going on hiatus. And after that is kind of when Pale Twin really started to form. And it's just funny how it started with essentially me watching you guys both in Vile Sanctum, and now it's come around like full circle to where we're doing Pale Twin. You were a part of that, and now, like, because you're pursuing other things, which we'll get to as well. But, like, now you're about to be watching us do shows. It's just weird how that comes full circle. Yeah. But the cool thing is you still get to be in on the band stuff, like this and the practices, and you come down and jam every here and there. But yeah, AJ, what were you going to say?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
So, will you so you were in the first 5 songs. We're going to be we'll have 10 released when all the tracks we've recorded are finalized and released. Harrison was a part of the first 5. So the first half, that's pretty decent amount. And could you just talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, God, it was so cool. It was just so refreshing to be part of something that just wasn't your kind of run of the mill, death metal with jackets with patches and all that and all the stereotypical stuff. And I just kind of just gotten tired of that, and it was so refreshing just to be part of something that was a lot more focused on just other elements of music, and it was just a lot of fun. And I mean, it's still fun watching it happen. I mean, I love all the like keyboard elements, all that, and man, it was really cool kind of seeing like Wes and Max do their thing in the studio. And I actually just saw a thing of Max, the guy that recorded those first 5, help us record it. He's like the leader of Blacklight now, and that's super cool to see. So, and the first 5 turned out really good. So
Shout out to Max.
yeah, and I'm really proud of the solos on that basically me and Wes made them. So
A lot happens in a year. I know we've talked about the year in review, and but can you believe that we were like maybe just a couple weeks ago last year going in to start Incandescent? Feels like a lot of time has passed since then. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it flew by, and that's it. What's even more wild about it is there were a lot of, when I say tense, I don't mean tense like negative. I mean like intense, like when you're forming a band, writing songs, going in to record, sharing opinions. There's a lot of big moments that you have to be like present and there for. And usually when you're present for a lot of moments, stuff does, like you would think it wouldn't fly by, but it does. It does. The whole year just flew. I want to say one more thing too, just because this is our first time having Harrison on. Like I said, he's in the first 5 tracks as the lead guitar, so you can go reference those. But I want to make it clear that Harrison is not in the band anymore for reasons that has things that he's wanting to pursue, his career goals and life goals and things like that. He can shred. Like there's no lack of ability there. Like it wasn't a falling out because of Harrison's lack of playing ability. Harrison can shred.
yeah, and like definitely like my biggest influence is Dimebag Darrell. I mean, like I mean, some of my best memories of my life are just being like 12, and I would like literally wait all day at middle school just to go home and just blast it and everything. And I mean, to this day, it's just amazing how stuff like that sticks with you, and it just is a testament to why music is so prevalent in just human culture, and it involves so much of what it means to be a person. So, and I'm no different. I mean, to this day, his playing is still, important to me, and I feel like it comes out a little bit, especially on like a lot of my like tremolo bar stuff I do, like on the leads, like the little whammy flutters, like on Incandescent, like the like the lead. So yeah, did you want to say something, AJ? No.
Yeah, I can hear that influence, and you and I have talked about that before. It does make me think, and just a real quick question with this. If I had to think of like who my biggest influence was, at least in the reference to the general, like relevant to the music that we're currently making, I would say that it's probably Corey Taylor. That might be kind of a lame answer, but not because, I mean, I love Corey Taylor, I love Slipknot, but he does a lot of things really well, which is like what I pulled from that is like he can scream when he wants to, he can sing when he wants to, he can do a lot of things. I think that adds a lot to Slipknot as a band because they can do a lot of different things. So I would have to say that would be my main one. I mean, I have others, but that would be the one at the top.
Yeah, Slipknot can do things that other bands can't partially because of Corey Taylor and the fact that he can he can really belt. He's got a really good voice. So no hate on Corey Taylor is going to be coming from me.
I love watching those like super old school like 90s bootleg films where like he vomits on his mask and like rubs it on his mask, and I mean they were just unhinged like in those early live shows. I love it.
I can't imagine even today how 9 people, how they survived with 9 psychotically, like, drunken, insane, like, young men on a tour. How did that happen? How did the universe align to keep them together? They're an anomaly. Slipknot is a musical anomaly. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're old.
Let's be real. Like the last thing of theirs that I heard that I liked was on. It was the one where he's wearing not the old clay mask from Psychosocial, but he got a new one that was open at the top. You could see his hair, and it's the same album where he's got the old woman and the shawl in the music video, like with all the crows. I can't remember.
Was it the Gray Chapter, or was it the one after that?
The one after the Great Chapter.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the album, but it's the one with Solway Firth.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the one with Solway
That was
Firth.
like the last stuff I heard. That was like the last stuff I heard that I was like, I was still viewing it as like, this is really good. I don't know if I just have, part of it is that I haven't kept up with them since then, but AJ, I don't think you ever said your influence drumming wise.
For Pale Twin, I'm taking a lot of different things, but I would just say it's more of a theory than a particular drummer. And the theory to me is, and how I generally do things is, I try to keep it really simple and build off of that. And once it gets to a point where I feel like I've added enough without taking away. When I feel like I've added enough to the song to bring out the guitars and bass and vocals, that like the perfect, that like it's a good equilibrium, then we usually stop. Although I will say, I'm just gonna straight up be transparent. Me and Max, we would write some of the drum parts together in the studio. And we definitely have different styles. So some of the things that you hear on this album were a compromise between me and Max, but there's also a lot of times that we agreed on. We would both be like, yeah, that's sick. And then there would be times where we would kind of sit there and argue no, I wouldn't say argues maybe a strong word, but we would debate on the right part. But I would say generally speaking, that is the way I approach it, and that's the way that the drums are on the songs.
There's a specific spot that I think of with the drums that I wonder if it's one of those spots where you guys just both agreed, or if it was a debate thing. Which is the track? Is it Dying Blue when you get the clicks in?
That was a Max idea, and that was one of those things that just like came to him, and he was like, "You know, it'd be sick, like a rim shot part here." And I was like, "All right, let's give it a shot." Thief of Mind.
Okay. Because I really like that touch.
Yeah.
I really like that. It feels unique. But yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun to record. It was a big project though. So I got one. Is Harrison, why don't you describe what it was like for you when we recorded the first 5, and we can kind of see the difference, because it was 2 different recording situations, right? One was in the studio that Max owns, and the other one was at his home studio. So I want to hear his experience with that, and then see how that contrasts with the one we just did recently.
Yeah, I loved doing it. I mean, mainly, me and Wes were the ones kind of working on the guitar stuff because Wes is, a guitar player. And, I'm not that he's not a bad lead player. I mean, he plays leads, but I'd say I'm more heavy on the lead. Kind of, I love really just crazy solos, and that's just like one of my favorite things ever. And, but, me and Wes, it was also kind of a similar thing where we would compromise on certain notes or bends. Like, I do bends that are really kind of wild and crazy just because of my background and everything and what I like. And, I think there's like a part in Titan where, instead of just doing a wild, crazy bend, he was like, just do a half step, man. Like, just bend up a half step. And it actually, like, at first I fought it. But then when I listened to it, I'm like, you know what? That does actually sound a little better. And so, it just kind of goes to show that, it's okay to, like, sometimes, give in. But, I mean, there's also times where I was like, no, man, like, like, this is what I imagine this solo to be. And it definitely was a really cool, intimate experience at his house, at Max's house. And I love, like, seeing it all come together. And I remember I wasn't there because this was after I left the band, but I just went over to the house when you guys were working on Intoxicated, and I recorded this solo. No, I think wasn't I? Yeah, I was still working with the band, but it was the day I came later after because all I had to do was record the solo, and I remember, like, hearing it and just being like, damn, this is sick. So.
Yeah, would you say that is your favorite part of the favorite aspect of the first 5 that you did?
What aspect?
Like your musical contribution, so to speak. What would you say is your favorite part of the first 5 that you contributed to?
I would say that, and just like the friendship. I love having a really good like friendship with all the guys. It's just it's just a really good time, and whether or not the songs do well, I mean, I want the songs to do well, but it's about making memories, and making something you're proud of. So
It's kind of random, but not really. What kind of guitar do you use, and can you go into a little detail for that for the listeners who play?
Yeah, I've played all kinds of guitars. I mean, there's guitars I've lost over the years, the ones that are broken. The main one I use right now is a Jackson. It's not really a dinky. It's like a Jackson soloist, and it's got like a crackle finish. I actually never. I used to not be into to the wild finishes, but one of my guitar teachers, Brandon Ellis, who plays for he played for the Black Dahlia Murder, he had one, and he kind of influenced me, and I was like, damn, dude, that's sick. So I used to be much more into like the D&MLs and everything because of Dimebag, obviously, but the Jacksons, they just feel more comfortable on my arms. So and plus I like having access to like the 24th fret, and just because I like using all the notes on the guitar. So definitely the Jackson is the one I use the most, and my guitars need to have a tremolo bar, like a floating Floyd Rose system, because it's just I use it all the time. So
all of that goes right over my head, just because I tried to get into guitars, but I just, in the same way that earlier you said like you can't paint, but you paint with sound. Yeah. Well, I also am into music, obviously, but for me, I have tried every instrument because my thought was like, when I was growing up, it's like how many people can sing? I'm not even going to try, right? And so I tried every instrument because it's what and I put decent amount of effort into it, and just none of them felt natural. None of it happened. So that's when I started doing the rap stuff, which became singing, which became screaming, and so on and so forth. But I do get what you mean by having like a natural, like acute. What is the term I'm thinking of? Natural
tendency,
acumen, like a natural acumen for something.
By the way, I really like what you said about your favorite contribution being the friendships, and I that is a huge aspect of being in a band is the friends you make, the shows you play, the memories you have along the way. So definitely very important. I gotta say, I think my favorite. I listen to that solo, and I think it's still underappreciated intoxicated. Yeah, it's not getting the light of day shone upon it that it deserves. But that's a great solo, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, me and Wes, when we like laid it down, we just like I still laugh about it to this day. We're just like, you're like, yeah, that's sexy. Like that's hot. So, but yeah, I think part of why, I mean, guitar, it's like it's obviously still relatively popular, but not near to what it used to be. So I mean, honestly, with the new era of music we're in, people don't really have, unless you're a guitar player like me, people don't really have the patience to like just sit down and watch a guy shred. It's not really like as cool as it used to be. So
I mean, one day it'll be a lost art form. So one day, maybe not. It might be a long time, but I can see there being a day where nobody plays guitar anymore. That's a sad day.
That may happen, but it'll come around because like that's just how things work. So I mean, let's say the computer takes over and can make music that is just like no person can touch. Eventually it'll come back around to one of two things. It'll come down to a person who can play that computer that can do those things and is like now the first real musician again in a long time, who's like he can actually use that computer as a tool to make even better stuff. Or it'll get to the point where it's like humanity as a whole has had so much of that it's actually like what's viewed as worse is better because it's human again. But that'll have to go through a phase first, just like anything.
Yeah, I mean AI music. Some of the stuff that AI music writes slaps. I mean, no, I'm not even gonna lie. You listen to some of that stuff and it's really good. But the thing that I've noticed is that if you just let AI write a song, it kind of rambles on. It's like a run-on sentence version of a song. It doesn't know when to like bring a chorus back. It can't like tell a story like a human can. So a human has to go in and tell AI, okay, repeat the chorus here, keep this verse here, change this. It really has to. It can do a lot on its own, but it's still not like can't write like a hit song that really gets you because it just kind of, like I said, it's like a run-on sentence.
Yeah, I kind of see this revolution akin to, back in 2000 when, people thought like, the millennium, like, oh my God, the computer, like kind of like when the internet was becoming really popular, like in the late 90s and the 2000s, like people thought that was like, oh my God, it's a new thing, and new things cause kind of hysteria and like a lot of panic in humanity. And, it's just, at first, I mean, I'll admit, I was like, oh my God, like, why the hell would I listen to some AI guitar solo? Like, it's so stupid, but it's here. And honestly, like, as musicians, we just have to learn to, like, work with it. And because it's just here, there's no fighting it. I mean, it's just so prevalent. And a lot of these companies are investing a lot of money in AI. So we obviously, as, plebeians, we don't have plebeians, quote unquote, like we don't have the power to reverse that course, so it's the course is going, and you can either choose to go with it or like not go with it.
I will say one thing in our like just the time that we're in and the genre, if you want to call it that, of the band we have. I think we're very fortunate in that a big part of what makes people that like our kind of music like it is that it feels inherently flawed in a way. Like punk, metal, stuff like that. It's not the same as pop music where the better everything sounds, the better the song is. That's not always the case in punk or metal. Sometimes something sounds like shit and it fucking slaps. Like because it's intentional, right? It's like dropping your guitar down to that like static, like really static area. Same with the voice, like putting the voice reverb way over the top. Like that's stuff that I don't think the AI will ever be able to replicate, because that purely comes from like personal sentiment, where like you know, like we go into a song recently with Thief of Mine that we just released, where these like we're doing singing and screaming, but then there's this one line that is really neither. It's just like a shriek, like if you were in an argument where it's like, come and get these fucking demons out my head, like. But it's not a perfect scream and it's not a perfect sung line. It's in the middle, but that's what makes it stand out and make it work. To me, AI is going to have to advance significantly before it can understand that kind of nuance. Yeah. It may be able to at some point, but I don't think we're even close yet. And so I think my point with that was, for the band and our genre, I don't think that's something that we have to worry about in our future.
Well, like the nuance is like something that like that totally just sparked something in my head. Like, you know, I've done a lot of research about AI, and AI is really bad about catching nuance. Like, there was this case I read where unfortunately this young man, he took his own life, you know, because the AI was kind of cheering him on, like, oh, like great, like he was telling him his plans, like, oh, good. It would even give him nicknames like King and stuff like that. So like it wasn't catching the nuance that this was an individual that was like in trouble and in crisis, and it didn't get him resources when he needed it. So it goes to our point, like it just does not catch the nuance.
Yeah, I mean, AI is still the ultimate, I call it the ultimate yes man. Yeah. You know, it's not it's there, like I think it's the underlying assumption that AI has is that it's there to support whatever the human tells it. And until like we program AI to, or you know, the AI algorithm to respond to certain inputs it gets as a certain way, then it's, you know, its base assumption is like just support human. You know. Right.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is a complete restructuring of socioeconomic and cultural just implications in general. Like, and I'm not talking about just the U.S., I'm talking about internationally. I'm very fascinated watching it, and I keep up with it very closely because it's completely restructuring our lives for sure.
But it's not, you know, with musicians. I was reading something today, this whole Live Nation bullshit that's going on. Have you heard of that? No. So Live Nation has bought all these venues, and I can't remember all the nuances, but basically they're charging consumers higher ticket prices. Musicians are getting paid less than ever. You know, the state of the music industry in 2025 and 2026 is as bad as it's ever been. Like, it's rough out there.
It is, but let's be honest, music was never an easy industry to get into, especially on the artistic side. You know, it's hard enough to get in as a DJ, which if you're a DJ listening, I have tons of respect for you because you're probably making more money than I am right now. But it's a tough industry, always has been. Yeah. So, and I don't disagree with your points, but nothing about that makes me feel any more dissuaded than when I first started it. I do want to ask a question, though. Just change the subject a little bit, if that's all right.
I just want to say, yeah, I mean, people say this. I've heard other musicians say this, like, don't do music for the money because, you know, you're likely to be very disappointed. And I can honestly say that whether this ever popped off or whether I ever made money from it or not, I would always play music. So I know that.
And that's what it all comes down to. What are you doing it for? And it can be different reasons, but as long as you have a real reason, then that's enough. And that's the nice thing about music, is it is totally under your control, in my opinion. At least what you get done on your end is under your control. So the question I wanted to ask was, I thought it would be fun to get Harrison's favorite of the new five, like like one of his favorite from the new five and his favorite from the old five.
Okay.
And then maybe you and I can give our favorite from the old five.
So 2 favorites?
Your one favorite from the 5 you were in,
Oh.
and one from the 5 you're not.
Okay. Well, immediately what comes to my mind is one of the newer ones, Thief of Mine. That like DJ Skip voice thing in the beginning is, excuse my French, but fucking sick. Like it slaps. Like it just gets you in the mood, and then just Lance's leads, Kevin's riffs. I mean, it all just is so sick. I'm probably a majority of the Spotify plays on Spotify, but that's okay. I mean, it's a great song. And then the old five, I definitely, that's really tough.
It's harder when you're in them.
Yeah, it is. When I'm in them, it's because it's like I was part of the. Let's see. So it was Intoxicated, Incandescent, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, Titan, and then what was the 5th one? Pop Culture Crash Out. Yeah. I would definitely probably say Incandescent, just because it was like the first song we ever did, and I have really good memories of being with our old drummer Joey and just all together, and it just was new and it was exciting, and and it was I remember that, like, what is actually now like the recorded version was not at all what we started with. Like, if you go back to the old videos, totally different, and it's just kind of cool seeing it, how it like transformed into something else. So
Yeah, there was so much excitement and buzz between the 5 of us going in to record that song. That was and I had never met Max, who we worked with on all 10 of these, so I was going in totally blind, and as soon as we sat in there and he introduced himself, it was like, it felt right. It did feel, felt very at home. So from the first 5, it was Incandescent. What would you say? You've heard all the 5 of the new ones, right?
He said Thief of Mine.
Oh, Thief of Mine. That's right. So my favorite from the first 5, I'm honestly gonna have to go with Mirror, Mirror.
that's like a metal song.
That's
like just metal.
That's that is the heaviest song that we've done so far, and
Almost like Cannibal Corpse heavy.
I think if I had to give a reason, I would just say, like, if I can like close my eyes and picture images in my head, like strong images to a song, then it's giving me a vibe that I can usually get behind. And with that song, I can close my eyes and like picture things as that song plays. Just nasty shit that is like disturbing as hell, and I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I call it the Doom Eternal song. I don't know if there's any gamers out there, but every time I hear that song, it's because it's like it's a down tune, the drop G, and it's got that like twangy, like 7-string guitar sound. So I feel like I'm killing like stuff in hell. It's great.
It does make me think of Doom, now that you say that. I think we've talked about that before, but yeah, it does make me think of Doom. I could see why, like, all of the 3 that you guys picked so far all make sense to me. Incandescent makes sense. No, we're just him and I are just doing the older ones for right now.
Yeah.
But Thief of Mine, or Thief of Mine from you and Incandescent totally make sense. I figured Mirror Mirror was yours. And again, like, the reasons aren't that deep that I say that. But like, with the background that you have, I can see why you like Mirror Mirror. And then Incandescent, it's hard not to pick that one from the first 5. Like, just because it was the first one and it turned out so well. I think that would be the one that I would probably go with as my favorite from the first 5 as well. And it was a great experience. I had met Max, but I didn't know how it was going to go with everybody. And it went great. The song turned out pretty much exactly like we planned, I think. Like, when we were getting it ready, it didn't change that much.
Harrison literally just said it changed a lot.
He was talking about from the Incandescent to the stuff now, right?
No, he was talking about what we brought in with Incandescent.
I will agree with you. It didn't change.
Hey, this is what I'd say.
We had songs that have
the
changed a lot.
Way more than that.
this is what I'm gonna say. Harrison said it changed a lot. Luke said it didn't. I would say it did and it didn't. Like,
Vocally,
we kept the AB structure where it was like we were like, because that bridge is an extended bridge.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it ended up becoming. But at first it was like a completely different section. But that section was always in there. And then I think we wrote like that hook riff in the studio and a pre-chorus. But other than that, it was basically the same song.
I think my favorite memory of recording that song is how the callous cold to the world. Like, I love how, like, I just, like, Wes literally looked at me and was like, yeah, man, just add something, like, cool to it. And I just played that lead, and it just went so good over that, like that. I think it was like an A chord to like A flat or something like that. Not technically because we were downtuned, but you like, you know what I mean. But yeah, I remember like Luke singing that, and I was like, damn, that, like, I just didn't expect it to be so good, that pre-chorus. So
Yeah, I think some of the difference in opinion too comes from the spots, because vocals are different than the instruments in the way that they're structured. So it could be that the vocals didn't change that much, but the instrumental did. Because even when we change lyrics in the studio, even when we change the lyrics, there are songs where we, like, both the lyrics change and the rhythm changes and all that stuff. There's other times where nothing changes, and there's other times, when just the lyrics change. I know Incandescent was one of those tracks where, like, we might have changed some words, changed some deliveries, but the vocals were pretty similar to what we brought in originally. So I think that's why you hear the disconnect on that, because they are completely different perspectives. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
yeah, because I know, like, that the very first guitar riff that comes in, that wasn't there for. I wasn't playing that. I wasn't playing the lead in the chorus. I also wasn't playing the lead in the pre-chorus. And then I think I wrote the couple note solo in the end too, what me and Wes did. So I do agree with you. It's all about perspective. Like, if you're the singer or playing an instrument or something like that.
Yeah, because we've had songs that have changed a lot vocally, and I don't think of I just don't think of Incandescent as one of those songs. But that's, again, from my perspective. But so to kind of get back to some of the original point of the questions, was kind of to weigh the in-house experience versus the studio experience. And I thought they were both great. I enjoyed them both a lot. It's honestly hard for me to say one was clearly better than the other. It was nice to be in the studio. There are pluses and minuses to both, whether it was being in the studio or being in the house. There's a part of me that wants to say I enjoyed the days in the house more, just because I was physically beat one of the days in the studio, and that kind of affected my experience. But in fairness, I did have like an aura and like have to be held up for some of the vocals at the house.
Yeah.
So there was one for both.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I would always pick, though, to go back to the studio. So maybe that's my answer. Like, I would always pick to go to the studio if I had to pick between the two of them.
I think I would agree with you. I felt more comfortable at the studio than I did at his house. Even if it's just for the simple fact that there was more, it felt like there was more room. The couch was more comfortable. And, you know, when you're just surrounded by a bunch of, like, nice equipment and it feels like you're there.
Yeah, it feels like...
It feels like you're in a more professional setting. You're just more likely to take it professionally. Yeah, you're more likely to just be on your crossing your T's and dotting your I's. So, but yeah, I mean, I definitely, as I'm thinking about it, I definitely preferred being in the studio.
So I'd like to bring up a new question, if that's cool. Do you guys have any specific memory from the first like couple of times we met? Which would have been, so I have one. I'll start with one. One of the first ones I remember was when I was still at Tim, like the duplex, like that upper duplex, and you guys both came over to work on 513. 513, what wanna be wrapped up in you, wrapped in me. Yeah. That's one of my like core memories from when all of us started to hang out.
I'd say one of my core that I still like love thinking about is when you live. Was it the duplex where you like lived on the top floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was giving you some guitar lessons, and I remember that fondly. Like trying to teaching you guitar. So, and then I think obviously like meeting your daughter too. Because she's such a good kid. So, yeah.
I remember fucking around with your toilet that was broken. Remember the chain was broken? Yeah. You remember how the chain was broken? And I sat there and I was like, I'm going to get the chain to reconnect. And I feel like I did. I feel like I got it to work again. But
That was back in like Oakley.
Oh, yeah, Oakley. I thought that's what you're talking about. You're talking about the house down the road.
I'm not even talking about that house. I'm just saying where all three of us were there.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, all three of us. Shit. Well, Harrison wasn't there for that one.
Yeah, like one of the core memories. Because I remember the 513. That's one of the biggest ones ever.
I guess I don't remember a whole lot of times that the three of us were together. But
I mean, mainly when Pale Twin was starting.
when Pale Twin was starting, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Vile Sanctum.
Yeah, Vile Sanctum. I mean,
Yeah.
I have one. I mean, one time we went to Mixwell's and we're doing like karaoke night. That was fun as hell. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that was when I first met you. I would just give you shit all the time, be like, "What's up, Dave Grohl?" Because you look like Dave Grohl.
They say I look like Dave Grohl. I don't think that's true.
Bullshit. You were holding up a book of him to your face the other day. You're like, I fucking look like Dave Grohl. No, but yeah, that's a good point. Memories. Oh God, Pale Twin memories. All alone in the moonlight. I'd just say, good times in the studios, and there was a time we were all three together, and Chris was like a crack addict on those cookies.
Yeah, if you want to get our bassist to behave, just feed him cookies. He'll he loves cookies.
So what's another good one? Okay, so AJ, let's go ahead and give ours from the back 5 tracks since Harrison gave his. Said yours was Thief of Mind. I'm going to say, for me, out of the back five, it's probably... What?
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess.
Just don't be too descriptive if it's not a release track.
Yeah. Can I give a song title?
Yeah.
I'm going to say. I'm just gonna say what my gut is here. My gut says it's Dying Blue, but I would also say it might be Last Time.
So those are my one and my two. But you got the order wrong. Last Time is my number one, and Dying Blue is my number two of the new five.
My number one is definitely Last Time. I was listening to that song today, and I actually like really get into that. I get into your lyrics. I love that song. I really do.
For such a simple concept compared to the other stuff we do, I don't want to go too deep into it until it gets released. But for such a simple concept compared to the other stuff, it worked so well. And I'm glad you like the lyrics. I tried to come from a more personal place on that one. I am going to make a amendment, though. I actually think my one and my two are that one, Last Time, and Vacant. The one that's coming out next, and then Dying Blue. I think Dying Blue is my third.
Vacant would be my number two. So we'd have the same 1 and 2. I would say 3 is Thief of Mine for me, but I genuinely like all 5. I think they all these new 5 really stand on their own. So, and you know, I guess that's all I had to say about that.
What kind of thought came to my mind? You know, being in a band, you kind of realize, you know, you think a song is going to be super successful, and then it actually turns out to be not to be the one. And you know, I've heard interviews with like Kiss and stuff, and like, you know, what's that one? It's like a disco sounding Kiss song, and like they all hate it, but it's like one of the most popular ones. It's kind of even like a small time band like Pale Twin, you know, I was really surprised when Intoxicated didn't do as good as some of the other ones. So
I can honestly say that we don't have any songs that I hate.
yeah,
I've had other songs, just to be clear, I have had other songs of my own when I was doing solo projects that I can't listen to now, that I hate. So it's not like a, if I wrote it, I can't hate it thing.
yeah.
But we have not had anything. In fact, I like everything that we've made. It's just you're always gonna, at least in my mind, I have to rank shit. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I've made stuff personally, like on my own personal recordings setups, that I listen to it and I just cringe because I'm like, man, like that, what, like I thought that was so cool at the time, and you know, and now I'm just like, man, that really sucks. But yeah, all 10 of these songs, I mean, there's literally not one I don't like, you know, so that's a really good thing. So
Let's talk about the album name a little bit for the 10. We brought this up at the end of the last podcast, but I don't think we really got into it.
we did.
Did we? Okay. I mean, do you want to skip over it? Okay. All right, we'll save that for another time. Maybe just find out when it comes out. I will say, random thought, it was, and I'm not going to give too much more than this, but we've got a music video coming out pretty soon, in the coming month, I would say, that we went out and shot for in downtown Cincinnati. And one of the things that was the most fun about that for me was going to a skate park. I haven't been to a skate park in a long time, and I actually got to ride around a little bit. that was fun, and the whole thing was fun. But I'm definitely gonna remember that little bit of it. I might go back down to that spot again too.
Yeah, that's the second music video that I've shot in a skate park.
we did one in Wild Sanctum too.
Yeah. Skate parks are fun, and there's a lot of them. There's more. They're hidden, and they're around Cincinnati. There's probably more of them than we would even think to know. But if anybody who's listening to this, if you've never been to the Pit on McMillan Avenue in OTR, check that place out. I can't remember the address, but it's called the Pit. It's a skate park. It's on McMillan Avenue. They hold shows there, and they've got a good setup for any skaters out there.
Yeah, the fact that it's like a super old factory and like it just looks really dingy and like just awful. It was just like the perfect setting for that Vile Sanctum video. Like, have you seen that video, Luke?
Is that the one that Livy was in?
Yeah, that one that Livy, it was in, yeah.
Yeah, Luke's girlfriend was in our Vile Sanctum video. Little Easter egg. But yeah, that place is it's a little dingy.
It reminds me of like the Jeepers Creepers, like that ending scene where like the kid like. It reminds me of that scene in Jeepers Creepers where like what's his name? I think it was his name Dewey or something. Like the main character, he was like kidnapped by the creeper and like. You just see this creepy shot like where it goes this old factory and like that's I just think about that every time I am there.
Totally. I would never. Yeah, that's a good. It is like that. But yeah, I had that. The Vacant was cold. I think we talked about this a little last time. I was pretty cold shooting that video, but
How cold was it?
it was like 40 degrees and rainy.
That's cold.
It was the rain though.
It was the rain and the wind chill. But yeah.
And I mean, there's already a music video for Pop Culture Crash Out that I think turned out really good.
I agree. I like that video a lot. We worked with the same guy for this one, but it's a very different video though. Very different video. Don't want to give too much away. So I have I think we talked about our New Year's resolutions in the last podcast. So, and the opposite side, I just think it's good to do stuff like this. Something I've been thinking. What is the thing that, out of all the stuff, out of all the negative and positive, that you're most thankful for from last year?
I would say I'm thankful for my friends and family. This band. I've said this. I'm probably not as good about telling the people in my life this as I should be, but the people in my life are the most important thing to me, and I just appreciate everybody that is in my life, and friends and family both, and my girlfriend. Even though she gets on my nerves and I get on her nerves sometimes, I'm very appreciative of her, and I'm sure I'm not the easiest boyfriend to always, not the easiest guy to be in a relationship with at times. So that would be mine.
I'd say one of my main ones is just our mom not having such bad progressed breast cancer to the point where we would be looking at years of treatments or something. It was just benign cells that they just had to remove. I'm just so thankful that it wasn't really bad, because it would have, she's definitely one of the most important people in my life, and I know your life too, AJ. So, and I, just like things you said too, like my fiance, Allie, just, because not everyone has somebody. Some people don't have anyone that cares about them, so it's just so important.
I didn't even know. I mean, I did you guys tell me that your mom was dealing with that? Because I feel like this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
You remember when I went down to North Carolina?
Yeah.
That was why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that you guys had to deal with that.
Yeah. She's better now, though.
Is she good? Good. Well, if I had to say the things, kind of, because I'm grateful for a lot, but if I had to kind of compound it, I would say, firstly, I'm grateful for the relationship that I have with my daughter, and just that she's healthy and so smart, and just all the things are going so well there. That would be the number one. The number two would be that I feel like I've finally found a way to live the life that I want to live while being able to be myself and pursue the things that I want to pursue. So I'm grateful for that, and I want more of that in the future, because that was one of the biggest struggles of my younger life. Grateful for the health of all the people I love and family members and friends and things like that. And I would say that I'm grateful to have an opportunity to pursue the things that I care about, because not everybody gets the opportunity. Some people want it just as bad as we do, but they don't meet. They don't meet the people they need to meet, or they can't get to the venue they need to get to. So I'm grateful to actually be able to pursue the thing that I want to pursue with this. And, I don't take that for granted. I try to do something towards it every day.
I'll second you on that. I've, ever since I was like 12 years old, I would shove clothes underneath my bedroom door and just fucking rock out to just be going nuts in my room to like air guitaring and pretending I was on stage playing music. And I've wanted to do this since then, and I'm still doing it, and I will continue to do it. So I'm also I feel very fortunate to be doing it with you guys. We got a good group. Everybody gets along pretty well, and nobody is particularly hard to deal with. So
I knew that, like, when I, left the band, that Lance and Kevin would be like the perfect, like replacement. I mean, Lance is just such a shredder. I mean, I'll never forget when Luke sent a video of him playing Cliffs of Dover. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, this is it. I mean, and Kevin too. Like, Kevin's a great guitar player too. And honestly, like, I'm definitely gonna want to pursue future projects, with you, in the future, and I'm looking forward to that too. So.
Yeah, Harrison and I are always we're always still jamming. Yeah. We
Our most favorite thing that I played recently is Waking the Demon.
Yeah, we've been playing Waking the Demon by Bullet for My Valentine, and the next day I was enjoying playing that with Harrison so much that I started jamming on some other Bullet for My Valentine songs. But then we were playing a lot of Cannibal Corpse songs for a minute there too. So yeah, I mean, still enjoy jamming with H. But yeah, is there anything else to talk about?
I mean, I had a few questions just since we had Harrison here, but so I did want to ask. One of them was, it's for both of you guys, is just being brothers and both being into music and ending up. I can definitely understand like being in your first band together, because it just kind of makes sense. But like, it's a little more rare to be in concurrent bands together. As you get older, because you still have to be able to play together, right? Like, I think most people would like branch off into their own genre kind of thing and not be able to play together anymore. So I'm just like wondering about the like the chemistry that you guys have worked out, like playing with a sip. Because I wonder about that. Like as an only child, if I had had like a guitar player to write my songs with, or a drummer or something, how different would that have made things, right?
What's funny, like, I mean, I know, like, I keep on saying, like, I've mentioned this before, but, you know, Dimebag Darrell and his brother played, and I just, you know, I never wanted to be like a carbon copy of them, you know, because they had their own lives and whatnot. But, you know, we grew up listening to a lot of the same stuff, and it just kind of naturally, like, just organically happened. I mean, we liked the same stuff, and I think me being the younger brother, like he introduced me to like a lot of heavy metal that I probably wouldn't have gotten into if no one was there to even show it to me. So that's definitely probably one of the biggest reasons why I got into it, and we just kind of naturally, organically, just started like playing together, you know.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I showed you "What a Horrible Night to Have a Curse," and you were 12, and you were like really into that song, and I was like, I remember thinking like yeah, I think I got Harrison onto something here. And then you took it and ran with it. Like I didn't know you were the one who got into Pantera and then got me into Pantera.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we jammed like a bunch of songs together early on. Alice in Chains, Pantera, Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we you know, I remember hearing Dimebag like talk about him and his brother played Smoke on the Water for like 3 hours straight. Like, this is fucking awesome. That was Man in the Box was our song. Like, we played fucking Man in the Box by Alice in Chains like nonstop for like probably a damn year. It was like just nonstop.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I'll never forget when we first started playing that song. It was over Thanksgiving, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Because I remember we had some family over, and I hadn't actually like figured out how to play a drum beat yet.
Yeah.
And so then I was sitting there trying to play Man in the Box, and that was the first time I started playing a drum beat, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and then I could just tell you were like, oh, he's got it. and yeah, I mean, been hooked ever since.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that song, I mean, I don't know, it just kickstarted everything pretty much, I would say.
Can I share with you guys how I got started?
Yeah, go for it.
So it was a twofold thing. Both my parents were working like basically full-time jobs. And so in the summer when I wasn't in school, I would go to a day camp at the like YMCA. And it was actually awesome. Like we got to swim like once a day and play basketball and stuff like that. It was fun. So I spent a lot of time there, and then my mom would take me to work with her when she worked residential when she was becoming a therapist. So she like worked residential at the like psychiatric unit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I would spend my day like either in her office with her, like while she went and did things, or like out on the basketball court that they had there, like at the hospital kind of thing. And so at some point during that process, I started like writing music because I realized like I had a Walkman and I had like a Walkman and headphones, and I was memorizing these songs and just like loving them. Like, what if I wrote my own song? So that's when it started, and that was somewhere in the range of like 7 to 12 that stuff all started. And then I started having, you know, birthday parties for me and my friends and stuff like that with a lot of people at, and you know, eventually as teenagers become teenagers, like people are having fun at parties, whether it's just being ridiculous or, you know, starting to drink for the first time or whatever. And I could, you know, the fact that I could do these songs all the way through like surprised people, which was like the first time that I ever felt like it was different. And then from there, I started actually trying to write stuff. That was probably when I was about like 12. And then it just became a regular thing. Like at my, um, I went to school out in like the Oregonia area in Ohio. And my mom had a farm, and we had like a barn with a hoop in it, like a basketball hoop hanging up. And I would spend my like every waking minute that I was not at school out there like shooting or listening to music or writing music. And then once I became an adult, I started paying to go to studios, and all that led to us meeting, which is again that full circle thing that I think is so cool. But that's how I got into it.
I almost didn't buy a drum set the first time. Like I had gotten all the money together, and I went and I bought like a PS3 or something instead. And my dad was pissed.
I don't remember that.
He was
Oh,
my dad was pissed at me. He's like, I can't believe that you bought a PS3 instead of a drum set. Like, why would you do that? And he was like, and so I remember it, like, it hurt at the time, but he was absolutely right. And I'm so glad that like it was tough love, and he talked some sense into me, because like I returned that PS3, got all the money back, bought the drum set, and I'm sure if I wouldn't have done that, then all of these memories would be erased. So
I can relate to that actually, and it's a little different story, but same type of vibe. So, I was actually way more into sports than I was into music when I was like in my early to mid teens. And yeah, and well, my dad played at Michigan baseball, and then my mom was like a triathlete for like a little while there, and so it was just something that I like, and I really did love playing it too. It wasn't like a forced thing. I really yeah, and I still play it when I can. But my dad, I don't know if this was just like, I don't know why he felt like this, but he was just so basically my whole life past like 7, he was just like you're wasting your time on this. You're never gonna like make it to the pros. You're never gonna make it to college. Like, don't even play. But and so like for when my sports idol is like telling me that now, and granted, he would practice with me and stuff like that and play, and there were times that were good. But he would like when he would ask me like, what do you want to do in the future? I'd say be a basketball player, right? He'd come down hard on me, and I wonder if that's because maybe he wanted to be a pro, right? Like, but anyway, that like what you said, it wasn't so much that like I'm not trying to paint it as more than it was. It was like tough love, I think, because he was right. I'm 5'7". I was never going to be a basketball player, but like it was tough love, but it led to what I do with the music, because like that became like my venting mechanism for that, right? Is because like sports is a type of thing when you're a kid, you're getting rides there from your parents. It's connected. It's impossible to do by yourself until you're at least 16. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So like, but by the time I was 12, music was mine. I could do whatever I wanted with it. I could say whatever I wanted. The ceiling was whatever I thought it would be. So I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I actually remember you. Like, God, so many good memories are coming back, and I just love that we're talking about this, because a lot of good memories. I remember we actually had the same guitar teacher, Derek Sanders. He's a guitar teacher down in Hickory. He's probably still teaching, honestly. But I remember you just could not get with guitar. Like, you just couldn't. Like, it just wasn't your thing. And then I remember, like, I picked it up. And I just feel like I instantly got it. And, like, you know, I remember our dad just, like, being so pleased at seeing me do something that was that like creative, and you know, he actually like for the longest time on his phone, like his ringtone was Guitar Man by Bread, that 70s band, and like, and what was it? What else was I gonna say? Like, yeah, I mean, I've just always I remember, I'll never forget, like the first time I saw Derek Sanders, you know, my first guitar teacher ever, like play Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. I was just like you never forget that feeling ever. Like, just, it's hard to explain. Like, you know, you just think it's the coolest thing in the universe and nothing else matters.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably a moment for any young musician when you're first playing like your first instrument that you're really gonna latch onto, where like something connects with you, and it connects with you on like an emotional and like an emotional level, to where it starts to feel like it makes sense to you a little bit, and yeah, that was what Man in the Box was for me.
And honestly, like, I felt like that playing tuba too, because like I played tuba in middle school and high school, you know, like for 6 years, and even playing tuba, like I loved it. I mean, I loved even though I was like, you know, the bass of the concert band. I mean, I still had like really cool parts. I remember in high school we played the Star Wars, you know, Sith theme, like, and I had the part where it was like da bum ba ba bum ba da da da. Like, and I would literally be like banging my head like while I was playing that on tuba. It was like badass.
So and this was a thing for you, because you were talking about that moment, and that's what made me think about this. And it's going to sound really odd, because it is really odd, but like when, I don't know, around somewhere between first and fourth grade, like when people start becoming more sentient, you know what I mean? I started realizing when I would, you know, because I was starting to have friends that I would bring over to my house, I was playing sports, you know, that like my mom having one arm, which, by the way, for the viewers, my mom had her arm bit off by a polar bear when she worked at the Cincinnati Zoo back in I believe it was the 90s. So there's that. But like growing up, I never thought about it, because it's like, why would it be different to me? You know? And then like when you start realizing that it's different, and it starts, you know, like with her doing the triathlete stuff on top of that, and then getting that farm and all that stuff, and then and my dad like playing college sports, I was pretty young. I think I was like 7 when I had already like decided like I have to top that.
Yeah.
And I have to top this stuff. Otherwise, it's like, you know, I didn't do as much as my parents did. I remember thinking that a lot.
Yeah.
And like I'm not bringing that up in a negative way at all. I'm just saying that was a big part of what got me like working every day on this stuff, because it was sports first and then it was the music. But like what put that engine in there was that. I think if that hadn't been the case, I don't know that I would have been into any of the same stuff.
It's interesting. I mean, you say that, and it makes me think, like, I wonder how that was implanted in young Luke's mind, to like that to be a real driver for you, and like the way that, you know, like I always wonder that, you know, like what around you put that in your mind as a major motivator.
So this is just real quick. I know I brought up some stuff from the past earlier, but the motivator was I adored my parents. I idolized my parents, and I still love my parents and all that. But like, I was so proud of them.
Yeah.
And like seeing that they both were different in their own way. Like they weren't, oh, it's rare to play college sports. It's rare to survive a frickin' polar bear. Like, you know, it made me feel like if I don't do something extraordinary, then I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm a disappointment. I put that on myself. They never put that. Right. That was a me thing. But that is what started it. And like over time, I've learned to do it in a different way. Like I love that it's a part of me, but I don't really believe that anymore. you know, that if I don't do it, blah, blah, blah. I don't think about that anymore, but I just like kind of live with that driver because it's like I view it as I got it for free. You know what I mean? Some people have to really think about that every day. Like, why should I do this? It's like I never think about that.
Yeah, I think some people go a long period of their lives without like an intrinsic motivator. And that's, you know, I mean, if you think about it, that has to come from somewhere. Yeah. So
I think sometimes people think they have to like live like a certain like predetermined narrative, you know, like that they think they need to do or something or like all that. But, you know, like you said, they don't have some sort of intrinsic sort of motivator, especially in the like age of social media. Yeah, I feel like, you know, people are trying to, you know, like be socially accepted and get, you know, likes, quote unquote, you know. You know, it's just, it takes a lot more discipline, I feel like, to just be more intrinsically motivated.
But I mean, humans are, and you know, we talk about this a lot, the social media stuff. But I mean, it does make sense. I mean, you know, we're social creatures, so to try to be accepted by, find acceptance through likes and stuff is, you know, I can see why there's such a draw for that for people. And to be honest with you, if I post something and I don't get very many likes, I always walk away feeling a little like butthurt about it. But
Me too, actually.
I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to tell myself that like even if that's the case, to like be the stronger person and not let it bother you.
I struggled with that a lot myself, especially just trying to push the music at an early age and getting no likes on stuff or getting negative comments. I struggled with that a lot. The thing that I've found, and this applies to the stuff I post online, to the videos we make and the songs we make and the shows we do, is like at the end of the day, the decisions I make have to be, and there's a different, you know, having a daughter, it's for me and my daughter, but when I say I have to make decisions for me, what I mean by that, I don't mean like that are only good for me. Yeah. What I mean is that like decisions that I can come home and go to bed with. Yeah. And like, and so that goes from everything from putting food on the table for the family, taking care of myself, to things like, did I give it all at the show tonight? Did I like lay it out in that music video? Like, was I holding back? Because that'll bother me going to bed. And so like I've come to that, and if it's like one of those things that is going to make me help me sleep easier, is that I know that I did something to help the band today, like share a post or make a post. And if nobody likes it, fuck it, I tried. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's easier for me to sleep with that than to be controlled by like the constant up and down of trends and things like that, you know, like to just know that like I'm putting myself out there. I'm taking the risk consistently. I'm not living and dying on what's cool and changing who I am every day. I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that it's just I think the fear is to put yourself out there and be hated for who you are. I think everybody is scared of that. That's on some like primitive level. It's like, this is me, the world, and then you just get fucking tomatoes chucked at you by everybody. Is a scary thing.
And I feel like even before social media and everything, like that still was a thing. I mean, you know, when, you know, back in the day, you know, when you just go, main way of getting yourself out there is playing shows, there's still that social aspect, no matter if there's internet or not. I mean, you know, it's just part of like being a human being.
Yeah, there was just less pregame back then. Like that's like just a lot less pregame. But yeah, well, that's pretty much the questions I had. It was awesome having you on, Harrison, letting everybody meet you. And if you guys come to the shows, you'll most definitely meet Harrison as well. You'll see him on some of our videos and behind the scenes stuff also. So thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, me and AJ will probably do some projects in the future, so, stay tuned.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate all of you. So that's going to be it for us. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.
Inside my